Hello there! In this lecture, we're going to talk about how to factor quadratics. Factoring quadratics can be a little bit tricky because you have to guess. Sometimes, all of the times, you can use quadratic formula, but that takes a little bit longer, but it doesn't even work all the times. So then you have to think. Anyways, we're going to learn how to factor quadratics. Let's go. Here we have x squared plus 13x plus 40. How are we going to approach this to factor? What are you going to look at? You're going to look at this number 40. Write it down. Then you're going to look at this number 13. Write it down as well. Now you need to think which two numbers you need to multiply to get 40 and the same numbers to add and get 13. So these must be the same numbers, okay? When you multiply them, you get 40. When you add them, you get 13. Let's think. This comes easily to my mind. I see 40, I'm like, 5 times 8. 5 times 8 is 40. Oh, and look at that. 8 plus 5 is 13. And now what I'm going to do? I'm going to rewrite it as x plus 5 times x plus 8. The hardest part here is to figure out what numbers you need to multiply to get here, and then these numbers you need to add. Sometimes you have to think of all the factors that will make this true. Okay, let's do the next example. I have to think what two numbers I need to multiply to get to negative 90. Same numbers I need to add and get negative 43. Now I'm going to start thinking 90 divided by 10. So it will be 9 times 10. One of them has to be negative. Let's say negative 10. Negative 10 plus 9 is going to be 1. So 9 and negative 10 do not really work. Let's see what else. 90 divided by 5. That should be 18. Let's make one of them negative. Negative 18 plus 5. That is going to be negative 13. Therefore, negative 18 and 5 do not really work. But I see here can work. Negative 45 and positive 2. So whenever you see a negative, you have to start playing with it a little bit which number is going to be negative. So because here I have negative 43, I know that the biggest number is going to be negative. So negative 45 times 2. Does this make sense? Again, you have to kind of guess which two numbers you need to multiply to get to negative 90, the same numbers you need to add and get negative 43. So I guess your best bet will be to just factor these numbers. Factor 90, think of which pair of factors will give you negative 43. And now I have x minus 45 times x plus 2. Let's do the next example. Here I have x squared minus x minus 42. Which two numbers I need to multiply to get to negative 42? And then you need to add these numbers and get negative 1, because when we have negative in front of x, it means negative 1 times x. Okay, negative 42. So basically, because here I have negative 1, it means that these numbers need to be very close to each other. Unlike here, you see, there is a big difference, negative 43. If the difference was just 1, so I know that the two factors must be close to each other. Yes, when here is a small number, the factors must be close to each other. When the big numbers, factors must be far away from each other. Okay, which two numbers will give me a difference of 1? Negative 7 and 6. Okay, and now I can just rewrite it as x plus 6 times x minus 7. Here, the order doesn't really matter as long as you have the correct sign. Okay, if here was positive 1, then the factors will be negative 6 and 7. Again, doesn't matter which parentheses goes first, as long as the sign is correct. Okay, now let's add an extra challenge. Here we have 5x squared plus 11x minus 12. What are we going to do? So we have this 5 coefficient. You're going to multiply it by the last term. And when you multiply your coefficient by the last term, that will be the number, the product that you need to find the factors for. So basically, the first number will be negative 16. And I rewrite plus 11. So now I'm not just looking which two numbers I need to multiply to get to negative 12. Now I'm looking which two numbers I need to multiply to get negative 16, the same numbers I need to add and get 11. Okay, so this means there's gonna be a big difference. Okay, 11, 60. Okay, 60 divided by 2? That will be 30, 28. No. Okay, 60 divided by 3. No. 60 divided by 4. Yes. 60 divided by 4. Anyone knows? 15. Yes. 60 divided by 4. 4 and 15. Which one is going to be negative? Because here we need to get negative 60. Negative 4, because here the number is positive. And we're not done yet. We cannot just simply write it like these two parentheses. Watch what I'm going to do. So basically, why did I need to find these two numbers is because I'm trying to split this 11x, so then I can factor these two and then factor these two and then make up the whole factoring. Anyways, so let's see what is common between 5x squared and 15x. That is 5x. What is going to be left in the parentheses? So I have just x, and then 15x divided by 5x, that is 3. So x plus 3. Okay, now let's see what is common between negative 4x and negative 12. Negative 4. What will be left in the parentheses? X plus 3. I see that these two are the same. You see? X plus 3, x plus 3. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to factor it out. It's going to become a separate parentheses. Whatever is left will be in your second parentheses. Again, whenever you see a coefficient in front of your x squared, you need to multiply by the last term. And then for this new term, you're going to find two numbers, two factors. When you multiply them, you need to get that product, and then when you add or subtract them, sure, add a negative, same thing, you need to get 11. Once you get those two numbers, you're replacing your middle term with those two numbers, okay? And then you're combining and factoring, and then finally factoring. This takes practice. I honestly do not know a better way to explain it, to put it in plain English. I think it's just the more you practice, the better it gets. Let's look at this example. Here we have 9x squared minus 6x minus 8. Again, because I see a coefficient in front of my x squared, I need to multiply it by negative 8. So 9 times negative 8, negative 72. And negative 6 just stays the same. So which two numbers I need to multiply to get to negative 72? And when I add them, I get negative 6. So let's see, 72, 9, 8, no. By 2, no, by 3. Can I divide by 3? 72 divided by 6 is going to be 12, yeah? Which one of them is going to be negative? It better be negative 12, because 6 minus 12 gives you negative 6. Okay, what am I going to do now? Turn this negative 6x into 6x minus 12x. Okay, just put parentheses. I'm going to factor the first parentheses, so what is in common? 3x. What will be left? 3x plus 2. Let's see what is common here. Negative 4, right? Because we have negative 12x and negative 8. Yeah, negative 4. Okay, because I see that this parenthesis repeats itself, that will be my first parenthesis. And whatever is left will be in my second parenthesis. And that is pretty much it. Whenever you do not have a coefficient, that is pretty straightforward. Which two numbers you need to multiply to get to this number, and the same numbers I need to add to get to the middle part. And then you can just separate them. When the coefficient appears, that becomes just few extra steps. It's annoying, I know. Well, you can use quadratic formula, but for this one, quadratic formula is not really going to work if you really need to factor rather than finding the answer. So yeah. Practice. If you have any questions, let me know. Just rewatch it, try to do it yourself. It doesn't make sense unless you actually try to do the problems. Okay? Like, subscribe, comment, put notifications on, and I'll see you in the next lecture. Bye bye.